exclusively from the police and verified by other agencies. You don't, is it, can we say unaudited?
Yes.
What are your immediate impressions?
Yes, I think first of all, I just want to make sure that people understand the Zambia Road Safety Trust is a private entity. It's not a government organization. It's a non-profit organization, and it's as good as the women's lobby or all these other NGOs. That's where we are. So we are not part of government, yeah. And then our mission is to actually promote and advocate for good road safety on our roads. So when the police announced the figures this
okay, there's one public, which is the RATSA, and one
yes, there's a public organization, which is RATSA, and the police. These are government entities.
Those are too few, isn't it? That you
Sorry?
have one in, you are too few as organizations dealing with
yes, the
road
Ministry
safety.
of Health should be part of this. The Ministry of Broadcasting, should be part of promoting of road safety. But it's important to actually clarify that, because people, when they hear the Zambia Road Safety Trust, I think you might think that this is a government entity. No, it's not a government entity. It's a private entity.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so in regards to road safety announcements of the figures that you've actually just alluded to, this year we had a 13% increase in the number of fatalities. Even there was a significant increase in the number of road accidents. So we actually don't even call them accidents, because they are crashes, road crashes on the road. Yeah, there were about 7,000 crashes in the second quarter of 2018, and about 478 lives lost.
But that doesn't seem to move people as much as one life at Comesa. I'm not making comparisons of life. Life is life. But one life at Comesa seemed to move people more than the figures you are giving. 10 lives at Black Mountain seemed to move the entire nation. We had a national mourning of big people. We also had the death of one Karisto Chitamfia Jr. These seemed to take attention, but what you're talking about did not attract the media, did not attract as much.
No, comrade, you are actually very right. you know, one life, just one individual life at Comesa, you know how people were moved, like you have said, and yet we have got 180 lives lost every month, about 6 lives a day lost in traffic accidents. And from this report from the police, where I'm talking about, there were 1,400 serious injuries. These are people who have been amputated, people who never walk for the rest of their lives just because they were in an incident. And I just want to, probably just read something from here. Road safety is no accident. This is a statement from the Decade of Action by the UN. Yeah. Which says most of us know somebody who has been affected by a road crash. And we don't even call them accidents, a road crash. Either by being injured themselves.
What's the difference?
The difference is that it's an incident that can be committed by somebody who is not obeying the traffic rules. Yeah? Somebody who is overspeeding in a situation where he doesn't have to overspeed. Somebody who is not educated properly in terms of how they carry the vehicle and so on. Or somebody who is actually reckless, I can call them reckless. And then they kill somebody, or they injure somebody. And if you go to the victims' relatives and say, oh, they died in a road accident when the driver was careless, it's actually an insult to that person to say that it was an accident. So these are crashes. And what the UN is saying, that these tragic deaths and misery and grief they cause are not inevitable. These are preventable, avoidable incidents. Yeah, they can be prevented if the measures taken by government, the police, the health practitioners, and all road users to improve safety. Yeah? And this is the point. Now, the situation that we are found in as the country, where we are now moving away from the situation is becoming worse than before. 13% more lives were lost in this quarter compared to the last quarter. Yeah, And this should actually alarm everybody, and this should be headline news like you've alluded to. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about how many lives we are losing on our roads. 108 lives, like I've alluded to. And in the first quarter of this year, we had 242 pedestrians who were killed. And the issue about pedestrians is that these are not people who are actually in control of the vehicle. You understand? They've got nothing to do with the vehicle. They're out there on the road, but killed by mostly, careless motorists and who don't obey traffic rules.
Yeah, I think we have a video. We are just looking at. We get to look at a video. We just looking at this road that is under construction.
Okay.
From Chaisa Tenof and to 6 miles, which is just 6 kilometers. And I don't know if we can speak over the video. We have the videos there.
Okay.
I think we were just discussing with Mark as we were coming. Too many
yes, I think
zebra
right.
crossings, and the Mark makes the argument of it's not a road worth $1.2 billion.
No. I think even besides that, what we lack here is that over 60% of the casualties on our roads are pedestrians. And why is because of the type of roads that we are making. The highway we were talking about, which is a 6-lane highway, it's a typical highway anywhere in the world. This is what you find, about 3 lanes here and 6 lanes. And you never find such kind of a road where it passes through a well-built, compound where people are passing, And there are children who are coming from the other side of the road, crossing to the other side of the road. They have to cross 3 lanes and go on the center, and then they cross 3 lanes. Now, how can you expect children to do that?
I think the biggest, the biggest argument that we've had that in a highway like that one, where you find so many people are crossing,
yes,
including so many motorists, because that is a highway, where you are supposed to turn, the highway lane, the one turning must be excused by having what is called the filter lane.
Exactly.
The way it is at the mall there, if you've seen what the mall has done, and they may not dispute that the mall has taken initiative to create that filter lane.
Yes.
Now this is not what these contractors are doing, which is wrong, because you cannot be moving, for example, at a speed of about 80 or 100, and then you have suddenly turns without a proper sign, without a filter lane. Before you realize, a vehicle right in front of yours stops suddenly. There's a truck coming at a certain speed, which has to stop within a certain acceptable.
I think we have a video.
So I think that is the video that we are trying to
the second one. I think let's look at the second one.
If we can speak over the second video, so that people can see what we are trying to illustrate. That is carelessness on the part of the contractor. Everyone who understands driving cannot accept that type of turning there. You need a filter lane and allow a vehicle that is in the highway to proceed. So that what they are doing is that they are making very narrow roads.
So this is a very major T junction.
Exactly. How do you turn like that in the highway?
So this one is making a U-turn.
Now, where this vehicle is,
this is Ngwerere Tenof.
This is a highway lane. You can imagine, and you have to turn just there. Meanwhile, the common practice should be that when they construct a road of this nature, they're supposed to create a filter lane. I'm sure, Mr. Mwamba, you've used Ndola Road, this Kitwe Ndola Road.
Yes.
When you reach Wansha Tenof, they have created a filter lane there,
Exactly.
so that those vehicles that are in the highway can proceed.
Yes.
Those that are turning can give way to those that are in the highway, but not these contractors.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think Mr. Mwamba.
I don't understand the
we'll
logic.
still hold you as Mr. Mlongot is in the house, but we'll hold you briefly as we take a break to look at the newspapers and get Mr. Mlongot to join us on the last part to give us a review or analysis of the press conference they held last Sunday to say Edgar Lungu is a Malawan. I think 4 voices coming together to make that point, and Mr. Lungu is in Chipata to campaign. Chipata is what brought problems to the posts because they said the PF were importing voters to come and assist, Malawan voters to come and assist Mr. Lungu win 2016 elections. So let's take a break and look at those issues. Welcome back to Introspection, week number 29, week of the peace treaty. Is it a way to dialogue? That's a question. It's on the lower organs. We have our arguments that this needed to go higher. The minister, that is Kampyongo, the Minister of Home Affairs, who is in charge of the police, that are in charge of security and peace, should have been acting as a minister and not as a PF youth chairperson. That is part of the argument being made towards that argument. We also have the story of Bishop Mambo and Chifide, Gregory Chifide, appearing for contempt in a case in the Supreme Court, in an overtime case that has already been the case that has already been determined, but it has got a full bench sitting to handle contempt of court, and the judges that are sitting in that case, or the bench, is no other than the same judges that have been accused of being thieves or being bribed on all such accusations. How that is contempt, and that is another matter that we have to look at. So, Maximo, you were talking about the road briefly as we get to the other.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an issue that would require a restructuring. This
okay,
road.
we can still be looking at that video as you make that point.
That road has to be restructured. Every driver that understands driving, you cannot accept that. It is not only unprofessional. It is an expression of ignorance on the people that are constructing the road. I wish we could have the video, perhaps, so that people can appreciate what we were basically referring to. What we are saying is that...
Yeah, but Mark, let me take you to the media. The media is not putting this matter in perspective. The media is not as interested in this matter. And Mr. Mwamba is not doing the creation of awareness of what is really going on. For example, this road has been overtaken by the issue of the costs. But the issue of safety, that safety starts at that point, is not being raised.
In that road, when you look at that tarmac, you may have to slightly overlook the issue of, if you look at the way it is, those are turnings. You may slightly have to overlook the issue of the cost. In the meantime, you have to look at the drivers. No matter how experienced you are, vehicles are different. Mr. Mwamba understands that.
Okay. Just look at the
heavy-duty vehicles. If it's moving at a certain speed, it's difficult to stop it in a space of 20 meters.
Yeah, just look at the signage there. I think.
And in addition to that, if you look at the lanes, they are too narrow.
Yes, you see.
Okay, the zebra crossings, Mark, are just coming in. I think you have them in a space of 100, 200 meters, which is too close, and you have too many of them, and they are not proper.
Yes, what our colleagues are doing in South Africa, you find that they will have an
underpass.
Underpass.
Yes.
So that's what they will do for such highway roads.
Yes, no, you're right.
If not a footbridge, which is an overhead one. And this is what we are trying to demonstrate. You cannot stop a vehicle in front like that in the highway. You can't. That is poor workmanship.
Okay, there was an accident, Mark. We chatted on this last week.
The one which is coming from the other side, the way it has turned.
Yeah, I wanted you to make reference. There was a serious accident right there, Mark. There were about 3 accidents within 1 week, last week, and that's the reason we have brought Mr. Mwamba. Just on that point, yeah.
Yes, you know what, I think, probably my background, I've lived very much in the UK. I live in Leicester, which is there's a highway from which is called M1 going to Leicester, and there are a lot of junctions like that. So what happens, exactly what you are saying, is that there's either an underpass, or actually they call them junctions. There's junction 1 up to junction 21. That's when you get to Leicester. So where we are right now, where we are turning, should be a junction, and there should be a bridge whereby we should go this way, and then go down the other way, and go on this way. That's a proper motorway, the way they have created it.
That is for pedestrians.
No, even for cars, because as you can see, that video is that you are on this, on the right lane, on the right lane, which is a 3-way or 2-way, and then from there you are now trying to cross the other highway, the other 2 highway lanes on the other side. So what you do is, all these people who are going to go this other way, they have to go underpass and go that way, and this is a junction, so there should be junctions. But if you want to make shortcuts like the way they are doing,
I want to take you back to the figures and what the public response has been. as we do this road. I know this road has already taken a lot of lives. Mark, you're not saying that of Garden House. When they did the Mumbwa Road, it killed a lot of people before it could stabilize. This one is doing the same. People are dying, and that's
dogs.
part of the addition to what we are talking about, mainly vehicles, but what you are giving us statistics of pedestrians and children, people that are not driving and not yet the age of driving.
Yes. Yes, I think the whole thing, comrade, is that you see, when you talk about road safety, there's what they call safer systems approach. Now, the safer systems approach, which is advocated by the WHO, is that we know that people can make mistakes. Yeah, it acknowledges that people make mistakes. It acknowledges that people, as a human being, when you hit into a solid thing, like in the car scenario, as a human being, we are weak and we can get injured. So what do? You make the whole system safe, yeah, and allow and make an allowance for all that kinds of mistakes. Now, in terms of the engineering aspect of it, is that the engineering should be able to make allowances, and that's why we are saying that you have to make an allowance for people to move the other side, other than put them in a situation where when they make a mistake, then they end up dying, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, when we come back to our own government, what they are doing is we lack a correct strategy. There's no written policy or something that can actually prevent all these things.
I would want you to come back to the figures and also take us how we should reduce these figures. You've just given me a 13% increase, which sounds like an increase of
minimum.
Yes, this the floor price of maize.
Yeah,
so when you make it sound like that, when you get too statistical about these things, you dehumanize them. And I'll bring you back to that. We have to look at some of the papers. We run through the papers, and Mark, we do the papers as we had of HH rather behaving a bit more, can I say, maturely or showing leadership, and Edgar Lungu totally out of 10. That he speaks of him defying his advisors, and he goes public about it. Now we know that advisors, Mark, our argument has been confirmed. The advisors say the correct thing. The president confirmed that the advisors told him not to attack HH, and he had to really go against advisors and even say that in public and attack HH. And this is the person who we are still dealing with the issue of why he had to arrest HH when there was no proper reason. Now he confirms the amount of resentment and hatred. I don't know if you followed that story. And it's interesting how the church and all these others are quiet
about it.
When you want to talk about peace and so on, and someone is really showing resentment in public. Do we have the newspapers? I'm trying to speak to get the newspapers. And
so let us review the market. Commercial traders say they have the money to quickly resume business. I think that is what I alluded to. That's Sunday Mail. And I have a picture there of our commercial traders there looking somber. And see if we can quickly get to the next. Yes. So divorce cases, sudden family organization. Yeah, 4,000 have been recorded in the first quarter of this year.
Yeah, Mr. Mamba, you can see those figures also kind of are competing very well with your figures, and not much of analysis happening there, Mark. These figures have just been thrown like that, and not much interest. That is an inside page. That's page 2, Sunday Mail. Okay, we can move forward.
So of decentralization, where to go there? It's a song that we have sung over the years,
but there has been decentralization as they speak. The Daily Mail can say that, but the government doesn't say that. They are centralizing.
Yeah, when you're talking about decentralization, you're basically saying you devolve the power, and you reduce government control of certain institutions, and you allow sectoral control of institutions. And
but
working with the dead, the atmosphere is very cold with the smell of death. I think that is an account.
Yeah, that is an account of you call them what? The
People that work for the morgue or the
yes,
Undertaker.
mortuary attendants.
yes, the undertaker as yes, mortuary attendants. Yeah, I was also looking at this is a good story, Mark. We also need to have stories of nurses and the other in the field. The interest in the mortuary attendants has been good and
That is
consistent.
there in nations there, PF Center attacked. Then they call suspected cadres, UPND cadres there, Red Home of Keith Mkata's sister. The party's campaign team is using. I think that also comes in the aftermath of
Another attack.
Panga for Panga. Let's see if we can
Run through. Yes, let's just quickly get to next. Okay, let's keep going. I think Lungu uses mayoral by-election campaign to mock HH's electoral defeats and says it's hard
to rule.
Okay, that's where the story is. Most people think we have everything.
Stop it or else. Kanganja says perpetrators of violence will be dealt with. And,
okay.
I think we've heard
that's a mantra. Before. Yeah, so
it doesn't work at all.
Okay, Edem Jokoto there. I think there's some fundraising for Jokoto in India, who's got some colon cancer. Okay, that's correctional service reforms critical. So, Mark, the correctional service needs to be corrected. So it can't reform people because it needs reformation itself. The same with police. Police has to be reformed to. Yeah, I think.
So, Examination Council of Zambia hacked fraudster claims over 2,000 clients.
Okay.
The issue of altering grades at ECZ is something that is very sad because it doesn't make you educated.
Okay.
You lie to yourself. Let's see if we can
clean
your campaign.
We have been campaigning on no violence and cleanliness, Mark, as opposed to issues.
The challenge that we have is that even the warning from the IG there, simply lip service, we know the perpetrators and they've not been arrested, and I think that is where the problem is.
Okay.
We know there is a law in place.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going as the newspapers keep going.
So, promising heaven amidst poverty, I think that's Vincent Chile there, and where he feels PF is pleading for votes from those suffering under their rule. Then down there, there's a Zuma story. He gave a private visit, and that visit smells a rat because this is a man who was ousted on grounds of corruption. I don't think that is a good visit. Let's see if we can.
Okay.
Especially that the money was associated with
there
the
is, that is Mr. Mlongoti's story.
Yeah, that is something.
Fine time.
Fine time for Zambia, as Mlongo tells Lungu. I think that comes from from a realization that President Edgar Lungu's address is purely misplaced. The issues of fires that he could have addressed, taken advantage of that particular campaign for the mayoral rally that he had, issues that affect the street vendors, the hawkers, as you call them as well, issues to do with public toilets and also motorists, bus operators to be specific, that are paying for their every trip.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, among others. So the agreed a ruling, which causing mature leadership there. That's a big
Siwale says Justice Mambilima is a foreigner protecting a criminal, or maybe a fellow foreigner.
The point of Siwale there is saying that
so that
Justice Mambilima,
that's a coverage of the press conference.
Not a Zambian.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's issues of xenophobia. There has been that response.
But people would think there is no
that is
xenophobia there.
Unrepentant Siwale says Mambilima is a criminal abetting a criminal president. Let's keep going. I think that's okay. The turkey that roasted Dora Syria. I think there's this, okay. Let's keep going. There's the spare no one. That is the same language, Mark, from the IG and the president.
Obama's return to Kenya. There, I was just watching some clips on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going. But Obama also comes from Kenya, talking about tribalism. Obama is a Luo, somewhere related to Odinga, and
So the violence should be
and
rooted out.
he's going to his home place as family. So it also has some elements of nepotism that is visiting family. Yeah. Okay, the mark you are.
Yeah, violence should be rooted out. That's an opinion
Okay.
there from the Daily Mail.
Okay,
All of us have said that,
Mm.
but I think the problem is known.
Okay,
That-
yeah,
Okay. Okay, that's the same.
that's the same one. Let's keep going. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. $150 vanishes. Let's keep going. Yeah. I was abandoned, no one cared after I was jailed for political violence, says PF Kada. Mark strategically put, and this is the week of the World Cup, or the Sunday of the World Cup. And there is the Minister of Justice displaying the Zambian flag at the World Cup. Yeah, those are austerity measures. That's what people are joking on online, that the minister was pursuing austerity measures by going to Russia. Okay, yes, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. That is the State House turns away Severe Chimba from seeing Lungu. That is to do with Comesa. Let's keep going. HH must go. Chilankalipa, that UPND doesn't want a new leader. I think Zambia wants a new leader, Mark. HH or not HH. That message is also out there. Okay, let's keep going.
There's another very interesting one there, to fix Lusaka, not Wi-Fi.
Okay, which comes there. And then Zambia under terrorist threat from Fethullah